Lowe's knows you've got a job to do, and we help get it done. With the MyLowe's Pro Rewards program, eligible members save more with volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and/or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Keeping your IT team sharp isn't optional. It's essential. CBT Nuggets delivers high-quality IT training led by real-world experts who know what teams actually need on systems teams will actually use. Whether it's staying current on cloud, networking, or security, CBT Nuggets makes training simple, effective, and scalable. No fluff, no wasted time, just smarter, faster IT teams. Thousands of companies trust CBT Nuggets, and yours can too. Go to cbtnuggets.com/solutions and start training today.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. It's Conway Show on the eve. We're already there. Remember last year or earlier this year, like 285 more days till we vote. 184 more days till we vote. 38 more, 90 days. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. And then it's over. After tomorrow, it's over. And no more political ads. Maybe we'll have a winner. Maybe we'll have a loser. Who knows? But election night in America, it's always a big deal.
Yes, in 36 hours, we're all wondering, will we have an answer to who is the next president? Some analysts predict the race will not be decided tomorrow night, not because of fraud or election interference, they say, but because of rules around when ballots can be turned in and voted. Swing states like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, for example, don't begin processing absentee ballots until Election Day. Nevada allows 4 days for ballots to arrive as long as they are postmarked before or on November 5th.
Great.
And Arizona, much like California, usually sees a high number of mail-in votes. For example, by the way, just wanted to mention, I spoke with the registrar last week. 48% of ballots that come in go through a system and the signature is verified by a computer. That means all the rest have to be signature verified. So somebody has to go in and look at different versions of our signatures to verify our vote.
Oh, that's the worst. And you never know what stories to believe, what not to believe, what to believe when these stories come out. There was a story that came out that there aren't enough ballots out there for the military to vote. Military that's overseas or out of this country or in in some of the military bases in this country. There's not enough ballots for the military. I find that hard to believe. Very hard to believe.
Anywho, the mail-in ballots take time, and for those reasons, we may not see an election night finish.
The fact that there's a delay doesn't mean something bad happened. In fact, it probably means something good happened. It means that election officials...
Oh, okay. Well, if that's true, then let's delay it for a year. If the longer the delay, the more good things that happen, isn't it?
The fact that there's a delay doesn't mean something bad happened. In fact, it probably means something good happened.
Okay. All right. Well, then delay it longer. If that's good.
It means that election officials are doing what they should do, which is verifying ballots and taking their time. This is not something where the thing we should prize is speed. We should prize accuracy.
There you go. I saw a woman today on the news come up to one of those, my ballot boxes where you can, the collection boxes. And she put in like 12 ballots. I'm like, where'd she get those? I don't know. It seems odd. It seems strange. And maybe she works at an old folks home and she was just delivering for everybody. You want to believe that everything's on the up and up, but she didn't seem to be hiding it. She knew there was a news crew right there. And you would think that if she was doing something, illegal, she would not do it there and she would go to another ballot box, but she just threw them in the ballot box there. It was like 12 of them. So I don't know. Maybe she's on the up and up.
We also spoke with News Nation political analyst Chris Steyerwalt. He reiterated the polls are just polls. They are not official votes. And as we learned last week, people lie to pollsters.
That's right. Well, look, you lie to your kids. Why wouldn't you lie to pollsters? You know, you lie to your kids all the time.
Plus, voting behavior changed during the pandemic, so we can't expect elections of the past.
We're accustomed to 2016 and 2020, where the races didn't look close, but were closer than we thought. And in 2012 and in other elections, it's been the opposite, which is the race looks close, but it really isn't. And just a little bit of a gust of wind for either one of these candidates. This could certainly be another year like that, where it looks close, but it isn't that close.
What?
All right, let's run down tomorrow. First, tallies come in at 4 p.m. That's when all polls will have closed in 6 states.
Ooh, 4 p.m. tomorrow. 6 states close at 4 p.m. Exactly the time we go on tomorrow, so stay tuned tomorrow to KFI at 4 p.m.
Including the battleground of Georgia.
Woo!
North Carolina's polls close 30 minutes later. At 5 p.m., polls close in 16 states and D.C. That's 171 electoral votes total.
Wow.
That includes battleground Pennsylvania, 19 crucial electoral college votes there. Many polls in Michigan close at that hour as well. Then comes 6 p.m., we'll have a better idea of...
And if you want to, the closing rallies are tonight. I don't know what Kamala Harris is doing tonight, but I know that Donald Trump is in Michigan tonight. That's his tradition. When he runs for president, he always does his last rally in Michigan. So starting at 7:30 tonight, I don't know, you can probably see it on, I don't know if Fox covers it or not, or running it live or dip in and out of it. I don't know. But Trump's last rally is tonight at 7:30 p.m. in Michigan. So if you're into that, look at that.
Then comes 6 p.m. We'll have a better idea of what's going on across the country. 15 more states come in.
All right. And we'll be on the air. I'll be on the air with John Colbell tomorrow at 6 p.m. when these states close.
Including Arizona, Wisconsin, and the last polls in Michigan.
Wow!
163 electoral votes are on the line in those states. Again, that's 6 p.m. Then Nevada comes an hour later.
Oh, everybody's so nervous. If you love Kamala Harris or you love Donald Trump, you're nervous. You're nervous. You're not going to sleep tonight. You're going to be all anxious. You're going to get up in the morning. You're going to consume all that news. You want the numbers, the raw numbers, the exit polls. What are we trending? What does the LA Times, New York Times say? What does CNN? Or what are all these pollsters doing? Are they right? Are they wrong? I don't know. Tomorrow's going to be wild. Half this country is going to be happy, and half this country is going to be really pissed.
What we will find...
Either way it shakes down.
What we will find out on Tuesday night is voter turnout. We'll get a feel about who's using those mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
Is this a record like many states are showing right now?
Maybe.
Or did more people just vote early?
Yeah, or maybe more people said, screw it, not voting.
Also, did Republicans vote early? A shift from the last election. We'll see in about 30 hours.
Yeah, 30 hours from now. All right, the DA's race, that's a hot race.
Nathan Hochman, who is running against George Gascón, he brought out actor Rob Lowe today on the final day of campaigning, holding a rally right here outside the Hall of Justice where current DA George Gascón has his office. Lowe telling us, quote, "It's time for the DA to prioritize us over the Menendez brothers." Polls close in a little over 24 hours. And LA County District Attorney candidate Nathan Hochman called in help from Hollywood to motivate voters to make a change.
That's always rough to come out one way or another on the DA's race. Because let's say George Gascón wins, then Rob Lowe came out for Hochman. So anything that Rob Lowe does, if he gets into any kind of legal trouble, the DA is going to stick it to him because he came out against him. So you got to be very careful. You got to think about that kind of stuff. Got to think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
I also don't do political endorsements. Only on
called in help from Hollywood to motivate voters to make a change.
I also don't do political endorsements.
Except for right now.
Only on television. Only on the West Wing do I do that. But there comes a time where the quality of life of a city that I have loved since I came here in 1976 demands me to get off the damn couch and come out here and offer my endorsement.
Playing the role, which isn't a role of a citizen, a concerned citizen in this county, that might be your greatest role.
In a Berkeley Institute of Governmental Studies poll sponsored by the LA Times, Hochman maintains a large lead over George Gascón, though smaller than it was last month. Hochman leads Gascón by 25 points, with 25% of likely voters still undecided. Hochman has maintained his lead since August. October 8th, he was up 30 points, and back on August 18th, he was up 25 points. In a statement, Gascón's campaign said this campaign was never going to be easy, with tens of millions being spent against the DA since he took office.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow. We'll get some early numbers and exit polls. So you've got to tune in to KFI tomorrow. You know, a lot of days, it's important, but not really important. Tomorrow, really important. Very important tomorrow. So we expect to see you here tomorrow. Class starts at 4 o'clock. It's the late afternoon class. 4 p.m. tomorrow. That's what time you got to be here. So do whatever you got to do. Run your errands in the morning, early afternoon. Be in your car at 4, and I expect you to be here at 4.
Which is perfect, because right at 4, it's an hour before the first polls close on the East Coast.
Yes.
So you get a little prepper, and then all of a sudden things start swinging in at 5.
And I'm going to be drinking tomorrow,
nice.
which is a tradition here. I take like 9 shots of vodka, and I get crazy, just belligerent and yelling and punching, and it's horrible. But I do it every election. So if you're familiar with the program, I get bombed.
Steph's already crying.
Bombed. Yeah, Steph and I are going to. Steph Ush and I were the only 2 guys drinking at Morongo. Well, everybody else was drinking tea and coffee and sodas. Yeah. And Steph Ush and I, man, we're doing belly shots with each other at one point. It was wild.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Happy belated birthday to Fernando Valenzuela. He turned 64. He would have turned 64 on Friday, the day that the Dodgers had their big World Series rally and celebration through the streets of downtown LA and Dodger Stadium. It was a cool event. Bellio was nice enough to convince me that I should go to Dodger Stadium. I really don't go to events like that much because of how big the crowd is. But I said, okay, I'll go. And I had the greatest time ever, Bellio. I loved it. I really appreciate you convincing me to go. Good times. But the one thing I'm going to stop doing myself, and maybe you could join me, not Bellio, but the audience. When somebody dies who are in their 60s or early 70s, we've got to stop saying, he left us way too young. He left us way too early. He was so young to die. He was 64. He left us way too early. You know what that's doing when you say that? It's blaming Fernando Valenzuela for not taking care of himself. That's what you're saying. That's the only thing you're saying. Unless it was an accident where he died in a plane accident or car accident. But if somebody dies because of health reasons, and you say, oh, he left us way too early, the subtext of that is you blame him for not taking care of himself. And that's just rude. It's completely rude. Because you don't know what kind of life he had. He used to pitch in Mexico and work during the day in the fields and in the local shop in a small town in Mexico. Well, when you're working in the 1960s in a field in Mexico, maybe, just maybe, they're using chemicals that aren't good for you in a town of 5,000 people in Mexico. Maybe. That's possible. And that maybe that had an effect on him later on in life. But when people say he left us way too early, it's shaming and blaming people. If somebody dies in their 30s, I get that. Left us way too early. Too young to die. I understand that. But when a guy's 64 and spent a lot of time in Mexico, working in Mexico, or working here in the United States in, around chemicals or in the field or whatever, working in any country, and dies early, you don't know. You don't know how he, what his lifestyle was like. And maybe he died way too late. Maybe he, everybody else in his town that he grew up in Mexico died in their 40s. And he made it till 63. So, you don't know. But I find it really off-putting and really rude when people blame the person who's dead. Oh, he left us way too early. What you're saying is he didn't take care of himself. And for you to say that on the day he died or the week he died, really, really rude. It's rude. Completely rude. All right, let's get into something lighter here. When is a good time to decorate for Christmas? I say the day after Halloween. That's when it's fair game.
One survey says about 34% of Americans who plan to decorate will put up their outdoor holiday touches before Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Now that Halloween is over, I wanted to show you how to properly bluff a Christmas tree.
That's right. You got to do it. I do it immediately. Immediately. The Christmas decorations came out. Halloween was on a Thursday. On Friday, I took everything down. And on Saturday, Christmas decorations came out on Saturday. Inside, outside, we're going.
And retailers are all for it.
All right, speaking of retailers, here's another thing I got to bring to your attention because it's been brought to my attention, and another thing that I think is rude. If you go to Hobby Lobby, you see everybody buying Christmas decorations. And, they're buying, nutcrackers and wreaths and lights and ornaments and trees, all that stuff. All the Christmas decorations, Santa, the reindeer, all that stuff. And they buy it and they decorate their house so it's beautiful. Like these glass Christmas trees, these ornaments that you hang from the tree or a chandelier or whatever, candles, and makes the house look beautiful. Well, guess what? 85% of all the Christmas decorations that are bought at Hobby Lobby, they come back after the first of the year. Because I think there's a 60-day return policy. So all these phonies who are decorating their house to show everybody that they've got some money and they've got some taste, behind your back, they're bringing all this crap back to Hobby Lobby. And you'll see if you go to Hobby Lobby after January 1st, you'll see a line 30, 40, 50 deep of people who, without any conscience, they're bringing their Christmas decorations back to Hobby Lobby. And Hobby Lobby gives them their money back. These phonies who stand in line at Hobby Lobby. They decorate their place all nice, thinking, oh, this guy's made it. He's got some nice decorations. No, he borrowed them. Hobby Lobby lent them to him for free. And now they're going back to Hobby Lobby, where they can be sold next year to the same people doing the same thing. They're LA phonies. Let's do LA in a phony minute. That should be another online video. Phonies in LA in a minute. Let's get into it. These people buying stuff at Hobby Lobby. They'll bring it back after the first of the year because they're phonies. LA phonies in a minute.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Lowe's knows that free makes everything better. That's why our rewards members get free standard shipping on the things they need and want, starting at Silver Key status every day. Savings for rewards members add up fast, so why wait? Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change. Power up fall projects with Ego at Lowe's. Every tool delivers power beyond belief. So whether it's leaves, limbs, or lawn cleanup, count on Ego to deliver the power, performance, and innovation you need. And now for a limited time, save up to $60 on select blowers, chainsaws, and pole saws. Shop Ego today at Lowe's. Offers valid through 10/1 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Unfortunately, flu season is coming up. Maybe you're going to get the flu shot. I know they're offering it at Vons and Pavilions, I think, for free. That's what I heard. I don't know. Maybe there's something you got to do to get it for free. I don't know. But I also heard you get 10% or 15% discount on groceries, on grosh, if you get the flu shot. So, I don't know. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Who knows? But your flu season checklist.
How do we get our holiday safety bags and safety kits together, thinking about the things that we need, especially as we move into this viral season? I think the most important thing is a digital thermometer. You don't need a special thermometer. And as an ER doctor, those forehead thermometers are not as accurate as you want them to be. Sticking to the basics is the most helpful. Of course, you want to have things like acetaminophen or NSAIDs for pain, discomfort, or fevers. And
wait, what?
Of course, you want to have things like acetaminophen or NSAIDs for pain, discomfort.
Acetaminophen? Okay, I got that one.
Incest for...
What's incest?
Incest for...
Anybody?
Can you get it over the counter?
Does incest fight the flu?
Incest for...
Odd. Kind of an odd thing.
Incest...
I've never heard that. Is that an old... it's got to be old school.
Yeah, totally
old school cure.
Did he mean incense?
Incest for pain...
NSAIDs?
Yes.
What's an NSAID?
What is that?
It's like acetaminophen. It's a...
oh, it is?
Yeah. It's... I'll get you the definition here.
Really? Belly, you're like you're like Dr. Ray.
Well, I refer to myself as the Dr. Ray of KFI.
That's right, yeah. When you're not calling yourself the Carol Burnett of KFI.
Yeah, I go back and forth between the two. And NSAID it's a non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. A class of drugs that can reduce pain and inflammation.
Okay. All right.
NSAIDs for pain, discomfort, or fevers. And if you notice a fever, have no fear. Just wait to see if it goes down and then consult your provider.
Yeah, a fever is good. A fever is your body fighting off ailments and disease and foreign, cold flu. It's your body's fighting it with the flu. It's trying to burn it out.
And then also saline nasal washes and also suction bulbs. I stick to these things instead of decongestants because sticking to the basics is probably going to be the most effective. We've talked a lot about decongestants. Unfortunately, the data isn't there. And I think really important, know your child's weight and their vaccination status. The weight is for the medication provision. So when you're giving out the acetaminophen or those NSAIDs, it's weight-based. And so you want to have an up-to-date weight. Many parents come into the emergency room. I weigh the child, and then I realize that they've been underdosed, and that's the reason why their fever is persistent. So those are some key things you need. And then remember, there's still time to get your flu vaccine and your COVID update. There is the numbers are still low, and so you can still better protect yourself as we move into the holiday period. You agree, Mom?
Yeah.
She wasn't listening.
You agree, Mom?
Yeah. Those little people are a journey.
They are. ER doctors that work with me don't get sick from our patients. We get sick from the kids. So you got to make sure to be careful.
There you go. Crozier, I think we talked about it last week. I forgot, though. Do you get the flu shot?
No.
You don't take one. All right. Stefouche, do you take the flu shot? You get one?
I usually don't, no.
Yeah. Bellio, you going to get the flu shot? I love it. Get 5 of them.
No.
Wow.
No.
You're not going to get a flu shot?
I should, but I don't know. Probably I will.
Probably you will.
Yeah.
What about you, Angel? You take the flu shot?
No, I've never had one.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't get the flu.
Well, guess what?
Knock on wood.
I'm going to take all of yours for you. I'm going to get 5.
Oh, good.
And you have done that before, haven't you?
Okay. I get that. I got a flu shot around 10 years ago at a Sears in Topanga Plaza. Yeah.
Sears?
Well, not in Sears. They're offering them outside of Sears. And
just outside the door?
Just outside the door, yeah.
A table set up?
Got a table and flu shots. I said, give me a flu shot. $10 or $20. That's gold. And then about 3 weeks later, we were at Walgreens and I saw, hey, they're offering flu shots. And I said to my wife, I go, I'm going to get a flu shot. She goes, you just did 2 weeks ago. I go, was that this year or last year? She goes, God, this guy's dumb.
He's so dumb.
He's like the dumbest guy in the world. And so I've doubled up, which I probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah, that cannot be good.
I don't know. Maybe you get twice the protection, you know?
So you get 2 separate shots or you load them up into one big needle?
No, I get 2 separate. One on each arm. Bang, bang. Ding, dong. Off to the races.
Just walk along with 2 dead arms on your sides.
That's right. Hey, you got Band-Aid on each arm? Yeah, I got 2 flu shots.
Because I'm a man.
One outside of Sears and one outside of Walgreens. Do you ever go into these stores, Tim? Nah, not that really. Not much. All right, Jamie Foxx. Update on Jamie Foxx's health. What's going on with this guy?
Up next is Jamie Foxx, the Hollywood A-lister, returning to the stage in a new Netflix special called What Had Happened Was. On Friday, the streamer releasing a quick teaser sharing a snippet of sound where Foxx appears to be addressing the big health scare that left him hospitalized last year. Take a listen.
I said, if I can stay funny, I can stay alive. I'm back.
There you go. Jamie Foxx, What Had Happened Was, premieres December 10th.
Wow, and he's never really said
I don't know what we know about
We don't know anything.
We don't know much.
Sounds like he's going to tell us.
Yeah, I'd like to find out. All right, and then we have Olivia, when we come back, Olivia Rodrigo. She reveals her biggest dating red flags. So if you want to date Olivia Rodrigo, you're going to want to listen to KFI. I'll give you the inside track here.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
We have pop star Olivia Rodrigo. Very, very hot act. A lot of kids show up to see her. Very talented young lady. And she reveals her biggest dating red flags. So if you're interested in possibly dating Olivia Rodrigo, it's possible. Somebody listening right now, has a shot. You'll want to hear this, and you can avoid some mistakes. These are red flags from Olivia Rodrigo.
They say yes, I don't date them.
Olivia Rodrigo is opening up about her biggest dating red flags while sharing some BTS secrets about her Guts tour with Netflix. The brutal singer reveals the go-to question she asks while on dates, and depending on the answer, it can leave her feeling sour.
The biggest red flag, okay, this is a very oddly specific question that I ask guys on first dates.
How much money do you make? Where's your house? What kind of car do you drive? Is that a real Rolex? Is that some of them?
I always ask them if they think that they would want to go to space. And if they say yes, I don't date them.
Oh, God. Is that wild? That is so odd. If they want to go to space, then she doesn't date him. That is weird. Odd.
I just think if you want to go to space, you're a little too full of yourself, because I think it's just weird.
And Olivia isn't the only one.
So no astronauts have a shot here.
Who agrees with her space red flag. As Grimes, whose ex is SpaceX founder Elon Musk, also chimes in on the conversation. Writing on X, formerly Twitter, "It's true, only women should be going to space." And this isn't the first time the Disney Channel alum, who's currently in a relationship with Louis Partridge, has shared her perspective on dating. In fact, as she told Variety in an interview in 2021, her debut album Sour served as a deeply personal one. Telling the outlet, "I definitely talked about my deepest, darkest secrets and insecurities on Sour, which is sort of strange to be like, here, you guys can have this. Anyone who wants to listen to it can listen to it."
All right, who cares? All right, let's look at the jobs report here. How voters will be affected by a recent jobs report.
Those 12,000 jobs the economy added last month may seem shockingly low, especially when you consider estimates were for about 100,000 jobs added. But October was no usual month. The Labor Department says Hurricanes Helene and Milton, coupled with a major strike at Boeing, likely distorted the numbers, leading to the weakest month for job growth since December of 2020. But there was little impact from the strike or the hurricanes on the unemployment rate, which held steady at 4.1%. As wages rose slightly.
That's still incredibly low, 4.1%. That means almost 96% of people who want to work can find a job. That's a pretty big number.
Now, the most jobs were added in healthcare and government last month, but more than 40,000 jobs were lost in manufacturing. That's thanks in large part to that Boeing strike. Now, the report did give Wall Street a reason to rally. The Dow jumping nearly 300 points to kick off November. The NASDAQ climbing more than 140, and the S&P 500 added more than 20 points. Traders are betting the weak jobs report will keep the Federal Reserve on track to cut interest rates by a quarter point at next week's week's meeting and give the Fed a little room to continue lowering borrowing costs. Now, this last jobs report before the election quickly becoming political fodder. The Biden administration saying the economy remains strong. The Trump campaign calling this report a catastrophe.
All right. That's odd. They wouldn't agree on it. All right. Mammoth got their first snow, or maybe not their first snow, but they got some snow, and they're expected to open in Mammoth. If you love skiing, they're expected to open a week from Friday on November 15th.
It's just about time for ski season. The area received a few inches of snow overnight, and snow groomers are already hard at work preparing for skiers and snowboarders. Get this, Mammoth Mountain is set to open for the season 1 week from this Friday.
That's incredible.
I know. What?
That is unbelievable. All right, the LA Board commissioners are looking at a salary increase for the new chief of police for LAPD. How much is Jim McDonald going to make?
This week, the LA Board of Police Commissioners will consider the new salary for the next LAPD chief, and it is a lot more than the last chief made. Tomorrow, the board will consider a proposed salary of more than $507,000 for Jim McDonald.
Wow, $507,000 for Jimmy. And Jim McDonald, he also has a pension coming from the sheriff's department. He was the sheriff for a while, and he was also the chief of police in Long Beach. Plus, he was with LAPD as a street cop, or I don't know what he rose to his ranks. But he's possibly looking at 4 different pensions when he retires. Man, that guy's going to be in the driver's seat. He's going to get a boat, an RV, a condo in Mammoth or Vail. This guy's going to be loaded.
Who's expected to fill that position. That's about $350,000 more than what the previous chief, Michael Moore, made. If approved, the salary would require a vote by the LA City Council. It's not clear why McDonald would make a significant amount more than Moore.
Yeah, he's making more than Moore. Is that right?
Would make a significant amount more than Moore.
Yeah, he's making more than Moore.
More than Moore.
All right, but he's getting an extra $350,000. Wow.
Maybe because he has to deal with the Olympics.
Maybe, or maybe just he's worth it. That's possible as well.
Yeah.
But he's making an extra $350,000. All right, don't forget, you got to be careful with these winds. It's going to be windy over the next couple of days. Maybe not in your area, but certainly San Fernando Valley and coming out of the Cajon Pass, windy city. And you got to be very, very careful. A little tiny spark, and we're off to the races. And it could get real ugly around here.
Once again, the Santa Ana winds are blowing into Southern California. You could see trees, signs, and lights blowing in the wind from powerful gusts. A red flag warning is in effect today for parts of LA and Ventura counties. And the wind is already causing damage in San Fernando. A tree came crashing down on Foxx Street.
The winds are very strong, and the reason why is because of the proximity to the foothills over here. It just whips down the side of my house, and I can hear the chimes all night.
Firefighters say you should avoid activities that could spark a fire, like using any machinery.
Yeah, and also maybe wind chimes. You can take them down for the next couple of days.
And don't do yard work like cutting grass. They say the smallest spark can be dangerous.
Pay attention to the fire burn bans. If you're not allowed to burn, you don't. If you are somebody who works with heavy equipment and machinery, make sure there's no chains hanging from your trailers. They cause sparks.
While there is a higher risk for wildfires to spark this week, it's also important to note that power outages...
There's a guy in the background ignoring all the warnings.
It's also important to note that power outages also occur when winds are this powerful. Looking ahead, the National Weather Service says a second potentially stronger and more widespread Santa Ana wind event will happen on Wednesday and Thursday, so fire crews are on standby in case brush fires break out.
Okay, so tomorrow, not as bad. Wednesday and Thursday, the winds pick up. Please be alert. And if you're in the mountains, in the hillside areas, this thing could go up in a split second. So be vigilant, be careful out there, and report any fires ASAP, even the small ones. You think like little trash cans on fire. That's how these big ones start. And Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have the Santa Ana winds, and it's going to be wild around here. So be aware of that. Be aware of that. All right, tomorrow, Election starting all day. John Colbell at 1 o'clock. I'm coming in at 4. Then Mo Kelly. Mark Thompson will be here as well. We're going to have all the coverage for you tomorrow. All the elections, all the numbers, local, state, and national numbers all night long. We will start tomorrow at 1 p.m. with John Colbell. We're live on KFI AM 640. Mo Kelly next on KFI. Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.